The what if begins with Deku cleaning out his attic. As he goes down a ladder, he trips, and the things that he was carrying in a box fall out. As Deku rubs his head as he gets up, he sees and picks up what is seen to be a sword of some sort. He picks up the box and the other stuff, and he takes the sword to his room and goes on the internet to see what kind of sword it is and what it's worth. According to the internet, the sword is a thin scimitar with an elaborate jewel-encrusted crossguard complete with a scabbard. Deku is amazed by it and tries to unsheath it, but fails. He decides to take it to a museum to see what it's worth, but first, he would have to go to school. As Deku is in school, he is still bullied by Bakugo and his flunkies. He yells at Deku for trying to enroll at UA and tells him to jump out of the window, just like again. Deku reaches for the sword to stand up to Bakugo, but is scared out of his wit. After having his notebook thrown out of the window, he finds his notebook and heads home, forgetting to go to the museum. As he walks under a bridge, Deku was attacked by the sludge villain. The creep claims he wasn't expecting him to be, and he says, "You will be the perfect meat suit for me to escape with." Deku was scared out of his mind, not wanting to die like this. He unknowingly grasps the sword and unsheathes it. Deku slams it into the sludge villain, and the sword forces him off Deku. The sword talks to Deku and says his name is Anubis, and he will help him take control and attack the sludge. The sludge lunges at Deku. Anubis stabs the creep and swings him into a wall. Anubis sends a fury of thrusts at the creep, causing him to do a lot of damage to the creep's body. The creep jumps back at Deku once more time, but Anubis slashes the creep into 3 pieces. The creep laughs again and reforms. He sharpened his slime into blades and sent a barrage of them at Deku. But it is strange, all of them were just destroyed. None of them can even get closer than 3 meters to Deku's body. That's the max attack radius of the sludge villain's attack. The sludge jumps into the air and fires a giant fist of slime. Anubis spins and sends a spiral whirlwind at the creep. The spiral destroys the fist and the creep, causing him to rain down on Deku. Creep becomes enraged by the massive effort it takes to defeat one random middle school kid. He reforms around Deku, trying to submerge him. In that moment, All Might appeared and said, "Fear not, for I am here." All Might sends a new hamster smash, causing the sludge villain to splatter all over the ground to save Deku. Anubis is too weak to go up against All Might, so he sheaths himself, and Deku comes back into his own body. He sees All Might and asks for an autograph, and he realizes he already had one. Deku asks if he could become a hero one day. All Might says yes. "You see, as I was searching for the sludge villain, I saw how well you were holding your own against him. I don't know what your quirk is, but it seems to be powerful." "Well," Deku says, "this sword is my quirk. What is it called?" Deku says, "The sword god Anubis." "Well, with a name like that, I'm sure you'll become a great hero one day. Stay good, young Midoriya." Deku gets home and unsheathes the sword. Anubis manifests. "Who are you, and what are you?" Deku says to Anubis. "My name is Anubis, and I am a stand." "A stand? Huh?" "A stand is the embodiment of a person's will. Centuries ago, my user was dying, so he infused me into this sword, for he was a blacksmith. Why didn't you go up against All Might? He saved us, and I am incredibly weak after that battle with that sludge villain. My only desire is to grow stronger by fighting strong opponents." Deku starts to think. "If we work together, I can become the #1 hero by fighting powerful villains." He asks him, "We should work together." "Okay," Anubis says. "The only problem is your body is too weak. You need to train to get a great deal of strength in order to use our full power together in tandem." "Understood." Just like in the anime, Deku cleans up the beach in order to build up his body. He also watches swordmanship videos, and he really tries his best to learn how to sword fight. He searches up on the internet and all that kind of stuff, learning different sword styles and different fighting techniques. Anubis teaches Deku how to control his life energy, teaching him to suppress, amplify, and manipulate it in any way he wants to. The reason why Anubis knew how to do this is because he's made of life energy. After the 10-month training, the duo was ready for the UA entrance exam. As the duo enter the school, Deku passes the written part of the exam with ease. Then it comes the combat part. As the test is started, Deku runs at a super speed due to the immense amount of life energy Deku now has. Deku and Anubis slash every robot that comes to them. Deku sees a student trying to go against a robot. Deku jumps and slaps the student in the neck and the 1-point robot and destroys the 1-point robot and its arms. Deku then looks at the student he just hit, almost like he had decapitated the boy, but he didn't, because Anubis has the ability to phase through anything he doesn't want to cut. So he phased his hand through that boy's neck. Before the boy has his chance to thank Deku, the 0-point robot appears, and Deku sees a girl named Uraka trapped under some rubble. Deku and Anubis combine their energies together and Deku's legs to jump above the 0-pointer. The robot threw a punch. The duo sends a powerful slash at the robot, cutting its arm clean off. Deku sends an even more powerful attack called Giant Slayer, where he raised Anubis with both his arms above his head and slashed downward with all his strength. The robot gets completely cut in half. Everyone who saw this was in complete awe. I think this would be more impressive than Deku just flying up there and smashing like he in the original, because it seems like he really knew what he was doing now. As Deku begins to fall, he jabs Anubis into the building next to him to slow down his fall, and he landed safely on the ground, where he removes the rubble off Uraka. She tries to thanks, but the bell rings, ending the test. As Deku walks home, Anubis asks him, "So partner, tell me, how many points do you think we got in that test?" Deku responds with, "I don't know, at least 80. When do you think we're gonna fight some powerful villains, Deku?" "My instincts tell me it won't be that long. I can sense trouble on the horizon." Awesome. And anyway guys, that'll be it for part 1. Before we start part 2, I want to tell you guys that another 10 invites for the Big Ichitaku RP server will be available in that description. Click on it to join the server now. Part 2. A couple of days after the entrance exam, Deku receives a letter from UA. All Might explains how Deku not only got the highest in the combat point, he was the one who got the rescue for saving Uraka and the boy being crushed by a 3-pointer, putting him in first place well above everybody else. Deku and Anubis are both filled with pride. Deku sends his designs for his costume. It includes a custom-made second sword that was the perfect replica of Anubis. "Why do you need a second sword?" Anubis would ask him. "Is one not enough for you?" "It's not that," Deku would say. "You are the only way I can become a hero. If a villain with a destruction quirk targets you and destroys you, my dream dies with you. I can't let that happen." "Oh," Anubis would say, "you care about me?" "That still doesn't explain why you need another one though." "I will sacrifice the fake to save you, Anubis," Deku would respond with. "Plus, learning how to dual wield will double our chances of victory against our enemies." "Very clever, Midoriya. But wait, won't that be suspicious about, your quirk? You carrying around 2 pairs of swords?" "Don't worry, I didn't register you as my quirk. I registered another quirk, Swordmaster, instead of Sword God Anubis like I told All Might." "Huh," Anubis would respond with. "Understood. Very clever of you, partner." Before Deku heads out for school, his mother tells him that she believes in him. "Thank you, Mom," Deku would say. As time passes, Deku runs around the hallways looking for Class 1A. Deku finds it and takes a second to calm his nerves. "Why are you just standing here for?" Anubis would say. "I'm trying to relax, okay?" Deku then opens the door. He sees Bakugo being lectured by Ida for having his feet on the desk. Ida would say, "You're disrespecting school property. Take your feet off now, cretin. I don't take orders from a damn nerd. You've got 4 eyes. I'm going to blow you into good, tiny little pieces. You threaten me. Are you sure you're in the right school?" Ida would respond with. Bakugo sees Deku in the corner of his eyes. He turns his head and has a disgusted look on his face. "What are you looking at, cretin?" Ida then turns his head and sees Deku as well. "So it's you, the boy who cut the 0-pointer clean in half." Everyone in the class begins to stare at Deku. Deku nervously looked to his side and said, "Hi, everyone." Ida walks towards Deku and introduces himself, explaining how he was impressed at Deku and everything he did during that entrance exam. "I honestly misjudged you. You're clearly more analytical and a lot more smart than I gave you credit for, and I apologize." "That's alright, no harm done." Seconds later, Uraka walks up behind Deku and says, "Hey, you're that sword guy, the one who saved my life at the entrance exams. I didn't get the chance to thank you, so thank you." Deku would begin to blush, and awkwardly said, "No problem." Anubis began to laugh at Deku for how red his face was becoming. He also began to tease him. Racer says, "It took 8 seconds for all of you to shut up. That's not going to work." Every student started to stare at the sleep-deprived man, wondering who he was. "Alright students, I'm your teacher. 2 things. 1, if you're just here to make friends, you might as well hightail it out of here right now. If not, welcome to UA. Now, for the second, I want all of you to change into your gym uniforms and follow me to the training field." Uraka reacts by, "What about orientation? That's a waste of time. And if there's anything I hate more than the spotlight is wasting time. You, boy, you're the one who managed to get more points than anyone. Use your quirk to win this softball throw. Throw it as far as you can." Deku catches the ball and unsheathes Anubis a tiny bit. The two combine their energies into Deku's arm, maxing out his strength without damaging his arm too bad. Deku throws the ball a full 563 kilometers away. Bakugo now becomes pissed. He tries to attack Deku with an explosion, yelling, "You damn nerd, how did you get a quirk?" Eraserhead erases Bakugo's quirk in that second. Anubis takes control, slashing into Bakugo's chest with back of the blade, smashing him into the ground. When Bakugo opens his eyes and stares at Deku, he doesn't see the kind-hearted soul he used to know. Instead, he sees a devilish, almost lifeless gaze in Deku's eyes. It scares the crap out of him. Fear crushed all over him like a tsunami, unable to move or even think, as Anubis raised the blade and quickly unsheathes half the blade and states that if you ever mess with us again, I'll use the sharp half next time. Eraserhead asks what's going on. Nothing, Teach, Anubis answers. The rest of the fitness test goes the same, except that Deku would claim all the top scores, except for the softball part. Anubis gives Deku back control. Deku regains his consciousness, wondering what happened. Anubis explains what happened without telling him what he did to Bakugo, and just tells him in order to pass and max out your abilities without hurting your body, I had to take full control. Wow, Deku would respond with, I forgot how that felt. Just next time give me a heads up, alright? Sure, don't worry, Anubis says. Everyone goes home when school is out. Ida and Uraraka becomes Deku's new friends, Bakugo lurking in the background, afraid of what's happening to Deku. He thought, that bloodlust, it would have been easy for him to cut me down. That quirk he has is evil. Well guys, that's the end of part 2. Before we get into part 3, I want to tell you guys about something brand new and something that's going to be really big and hopefully really big in both our communities. Ryan, Chunky, and I are combining our strengths with some other great anime YouTubers and anime creators and creating a new group called All-Star Anime. I've wanted to create this group when I first met Chunky and when I first started to get into the What If community scene. I really always had wanted to create a group channel. All-Star Anime is going to be a place where we're going to be voicing different manhwa, manga, and making group what ifs. So you guys know how I do that thing where I change voices and speak with different characters. We're going to be doing that, except for it's all going to be voice acted and all going to be in a lot of detail. Go over there to the All-Star Anime channel, which once used to be Big Gucci 2, my second channel, and subscribe. Part 3. Deku goes through his day normally, except Bakugo carefully kept an eye on him after what he had just did to him. After lunch, the class socialized with each other. All Might suddenly appeared through the door yelling, I am here. Everyone is in awe as they see All Might in his Silver Age costume. Deku was so excited to see the #1 hero, but Anubis can sense that All Might is in a great deal of pain. He tells Deku that this guy, he's in a lot of pain. What do you mean pain? Deku says. The last time we met him, I could not be for sure, due to the fact that I was exhausted from the fight at the sludge room. But now that I think about it, it's sad that we still don't know his name. Can you please get to the point? The point is, I can sense other people's state of being, and he's struggling to keep his current form active. Interesting. We'll talk more about this later, okay, partner? Welcome students. This will be the most important class of UA. It is the basic Hero 101, so keep that in mind. Here you will learn how to become a pro hero and learn what it truly means to fight for justice and peace. Today we're having a hero versus villains battle. The test works like this. There will be 2 teams of 2. One team will be a villain team. The task is to protect a fake nuclear missile. The villains can keep the nuke safe until the time runs out, or they defeat the hero team, they win. Okay. Now that you know what to do, I want to have all of you change into your custom-made hero costumes and meet me at training area 2. The class changes and heads there. Deku steps out looking like a walking arsenal. His costume is still green, but it looks more intimidating than before. Deku had 3 throwing knives on his arms, 6 tear gas grenades strapped across his chest, Calvar gloves, boots, and armor with Anubis on his back, and a fake at his hip. Anubis asks, why so much gear? Because you can only make us faster and stronger as we fight, not more durable. One good hit to my chest and or legs from a strong villain, and I could die. Game over. I see, Anubis responds. Uraraka comes up to Deku telling him how awesome his costume looks. But she complains her costume shows far too much skin for her taste. Deku tries to hide his face as he blushes at her. All Might orders the class to focus and randomly puts the students in teams. The teams remains the same. Deku and Uraraka must battle Bakugo and Ida. Deku becomes a bit worried, but Anubis eases his minds by saying, together there's no one we can't defeat. The test begins. Deku tells Uraraka that there's a good chance that Bakugo will come to attack him, so she should go back and take on Ida by herself, while he takes on Bakugo by himself. When Bakugo bursts around the corner, Deku takes a fighting stance, preparing himself for battle. Bakugo comes around screaming, Deku, you damn nerd! Bakugo threw a right hook. Deku would slash with Anubis at a right downward vertical angle. Not knowing what Deku had just done, Bakugo laughs at him claiming, you're supposed to be some sort of sword master, right? And you miss? Bakugo points his right grenade gauntlet at Deku. All Might screams with the speaker telling him to stop. If he pulls that pin, he won't survive the explosion. Bakugo yells, not if he dodges! Bakugo tried to pull the pin, but he couldn't. He shredded his other gauntlet, realizing the same had happened. Bakugo's rage began to boil over. He raised both his arms and tried to fire the explosive, but it was too late. Deku rushed past him, and threw Bakugo on the ground as usual. Everyone thought Bakugo was dead. He wasn't. Deku had simply cut his gauntlets and safely phased Anubis into him. Bakugo was going to attack anyway, but he saw a lit match falling on his arm, and Deku walking around away. Bakugo screamed, "Deku, you damn nerd!" The rest of the class who saw that, including All Might, were amazed at Deku's brilliant strategy. Bakugo lays there as a burnt black body. Deku races towards the top room. As he opens the door, he sees Uraraka struggling to defeat Ida or even touch the nuke. Deku yells at Ida, "Hey villain, why don't you take on a real challenge? You think you're a threat to me? I'm a hero." "Yeah, I do think I'm a threat to you," Ida would respond with. "Then let's see what you got." Ida charges at Deku at a high speed and kicks him. Deku blocks with his shoulder. Ida sends another high speed kick. Deku blocks by crossing his arm. Ida blitzes Deku and tries to sweep his legs with another kick, but Deku dodges by backflipping. Deku slashes at Ida. Ida dodges the attack easily. Deku asks Anubis if this is gonna be enough. "Oh yeah, partner. Time for extreme offense." Ida charges at Deku once more and sends another high speed kick, but Deku catches his leg and smashes Ida against the wall, floor, and then roof. Ida's confused. How did Deku do that, considering he barely defended second? Ida threw a double kick at Deku again. Deku slashes with Anubis. Deku orders Uraraka to hurry up and touch the nuke. Ida realizes this and used reciprocal burst to try and move the nuke again. As he ran, both the hinges on his legs started to backfire, causing him immense pain. Ida blacks out from the pain. At the same time, Uraraka touches the nuke. No one except for All Might had just realized what Deku just did just then. He first sized up his opponent's speed and strength, then he targeted the source of Ida's power, his engines. He cut the cooling line of his engines in order to force the engine to overheat. This boy was crazy. The potential he had inside of him, his fighting strategies, the way he fought his opponents, his sword skills, everything. This boy, to All Might, could be the perfect successor. Anyway guys, that's gonna be the end of this part and the end of the episode. Yo, what is good everybody? It's me, Pikachu Taco, and I'm back for another video guys. And today I'm gonna bring you guys, what if Deku had Anubis, episode 2. Yeah, what's good everybody? It's me, Pikachu Taco, and I'm probably sounding a little bit different to some of you guys. I don't know if you guys can notice because I haven't really edited yet, but I'm recording it and I can hear myself recording because I got a new microphone and hopefully it sounds good. Hopefully it sounds just as good as the old mic or maybe even better. But without further ado, I don't want to hold you up guys for too long. Let's just get straight to the video. As the next day comes around, Deku heads to UA. As he gets there, he sees a huge crowd of reporters at the front gate. They question him about what it's like being a student under All Might. Deku nervously tells them that he has to get to class right now, so he can't really answer any of their questions. Deku uses his new speed he gained after the battle against Ida and speeds past the reporters and heads towards the class. Once he gets there, Eraserhead tells the class that there will be 2 tests. The first one will change your life forever. You have picked a student representative. The class will now cast their votes, and after counting them, Deku has the most votes with Momo as his vice president. Deku is a little bit hesitant in accepting his new position of power. After what he did to Bakugo and Ida in the last test, Ida said, "Nonsense, your courage, tactical mind, and careful thinking are great attributes for a leader. At least that's why I voted for you." "Didn't you want to be class rep?" said Uraraka. Ida said that putting the needs of others above your own is the true essence of a hero, or at least that's what my brother Ingenium said. "Wait, Ingenium?" Deku asked. "Do you mean the pro hero who has like 5 sidekicks under him?" Wait. Are you his brother?" "Yes, I didn't want anyone to know because I didn't want them to treat me differently, but Ingenium is my brother." After Deku accepts becoming a class rep, the class heads for lunch. As they are talking about Ida and his brother, an alarm goes off. The entire dining room starts freaking out and got stuck at the exit. Deku can't understand who's dumb enough to attack UA. He can't sense any bloodlust around his area using Anubis, and Anubis says that he can't sense anything either. There probably aren't any villains, he explains. The ones who have broken in are just the worthless reporters out front. Deku channels his energy into his legs, jumping onto the exit sign. Deku sticks onto the wall by using his energy. Deku then funnels his energy into his right arm using the sword of Anubis and fires out a concussion blast, sending everyone a few feet back. Deku then sends out another wave of Hamon's soothing energy to calm the people down in the state of crisis. Deku preaches an inspiring speech. "You need to calm down. We are meant to be the next generation of heroes, and yet you freak out because of an alarm? In order to be heroes, first you need to observe the situation and make a plan. if you do want to do what this is, you have to realize that there are no villains attacking. The people breaking in are the reporters at the front gate, the people you walked past, not villains. As you were able to bend without breaking, that's what makes you a true hero. I know not everyone here has the same dream of becoming a hero, but try to become a hero in something that you believe in. After the alarm stopped and everybody got explained what happened, after finishing his lunch, the students head back to class, and Deku gets praised amazingly for what he did. And as they did, Ida whispered into Deku, "You have the attribute of a true leader, and I was right to vote for you." Okay class, time for the second test. We'll be dealing with rescue missions, shipwrecks, burning buildings, rainstorms, etc. What you wear is up to you. Just know, you haven't got used to them yet, so you may want to use your gym outfit. We will take you to the bus, to the training facility. Anubis complained that it sounded so boring. "I wish I could fight some villains," he said to Deku. "Listen, I know," Midori responded with, "but these are things we have to go through in order to become a hero." "I know, but I still wish I had some more excitement," Anubis would say. "I like a horde of villains to invade the school. That sounds like something that would be in a comic book or a superhero anime or something. I would go crazy in a situation like that." The student got off the bus and meet their new teacher, 13. She explains how she created this facility in order to help the students get accustomed to natural disasters and to help them learn how to save people from this place, called the USJ. As she is speaking, a black portal opens and a horde of villains step out. Anubis reacts to this massive amount of bloodlust. Deku's body begins to pulsate. He drops down on one knee. Eraserhead orders Ida to go and alert the other teachers and all the other staff members. The man who opened the portal appeared in front of them. Deku's eyes now glow a dark purple. He sends a power slash at him, causing him to black out. Deku grabs him by a metal brace and sends him flying into the horde of villains. Deku walks forward with his head and his arms drooping with the purple aura surrounding him. Ida is ordered by Deku to find All Might, and he heads out. Deku ordered Ojiro, Kaminari, Kirishima, Saotu, Soji, Tokiyami, Todoroki, Bakugo, and Eraserhead are at the front line, and they will take the horde head on. "No, I forbid you, it's too dangerous," Eraserhead says. "I sense at least 80 different villains," Midori will respond with. "You can't take on that many yourself." Uraraka uses her quirk on Aoyama so he can break through the villains and get to a vantage point to see all of them. Everyone else stands here looking at something in the front lines. That massive beast in the back. You see it? The group charge at the horde with a confident look on their faces. Soji grasps and through Kaminari. He electros 5 villains. That punches the fist of a villain and kicks one behind him and slashes 2 more. And the kick that he sent sends somebody flying into another person's body. Soji, Sato, and Kirishima throw a flurry of punches, sending the villains flying. Tokiyami uses Dark Shadow to smash 15 villains into the ground. Todoroki freezes half the villains, and Eraserhead gets the rest of the horde quickly away as Bakugo takes out a lot of them with a massive explosion. Eraserhead gets punched in the head out of nowhere and gets flying backwards. He lands and is badly injured. It was Nomu. He had just smacked Eraserhead on the back of the head. Deku now charges at Nomu while he channels the energy into his arm and punches it. Nomu simply stands there and absorbs Deku's attack. Deku realizes that this creature has some sort of shock absorption quirk. Deku funnels a massive amount of Anubis' energy into both his arms to cross them in order to defend himself against Nomu's massive punch. The Nomu punches him, sending him flying into Soji's multi-arms. He gets caught by Soji and coughs up a little blood. Deku tells Soji to hand him his sword. Soji then picks up Anubis, who had flew on the ground because of the strength of Nomu's punch. He unsheathes Anubis and says, "Walk towards the creature. Let me see the beast better." The Nomu then throws a flurry of punches. He unsheathes Anubis and a flash of purple light appears around him. "Let me take over, kid." "Yeah, go ahead, Anubis." Anubis then takes over Midoriya's body. The Nomu throws a fury of a punch. Anubis uses both himself and the fake Kampi to parry each punch. This continues for 10 straight seconds. The Nomu is throwing punches, Anubis is countering. The Nomu is throwing punches and Anubis is countering. Everyone is in shock to see how well Deku is going up against the Nomu, but it's really Anubis. Anubis jumps back and sends a spiral whirlwind at the Nomu, which destroys it with ease. Anubis jumps back again and sends another morally powerful attack at Anubis, leaving nothing but its head. Anubis collapses from exhaustion, and the headless Nomu begins to regenerate. At that same time, All Might and the other teachers burst through the door. All Might burst through the door with Ida and the other teachers. They're happy to see that the students and Eraserhead are doing fine.
Dress I like. Bitch, I don't care. What the fuck that supposed to do to me?
Oh no, bro.
Fuck you, nigga! Fuck you!
Really retarded, my nigga. No disrespect to none of the like.
I'm a motherfucking stoner.
The Nomu then begins to regenerate. At the same time, All Might and the other teachers burst through the door. All Might burst through the door with Ida and the other teachers. They're happy to see that their students and Eraserhead are doing fine. The Nomu finishes generate its body and looks around for a new target. Midoriya is seemingly out of commission, so it finds a new target in Eraserhead. Trying to destroy him, the Nomu bursts off towards Eraserhead. The Nomu is now seconds away from killing Eraserhead when it's sent flying, but not by All Might, by Aoyama's naval laser. He shoots the Nomu while floating in the air because of Uraraka's quirk. He continuously fires at it, trying his hardest to ignore the stomach pain that's coming from the use of his quirk. As Deku lays in Soji's arm, Anubis thinks to himself, I was right to join this boy. The freaks of this world are even more dangerous than I thought they were. Damn. That last slash should have killed that abomination. Deku then says to Anubis in his mind, but what happened to the one who created the portal? I know. Anubis then took control of Deku once more. He asked Soji with a very weak voice. Soji. Yes, Deku? Please throw me my sword once again. Deku then burst off towards Nomu, and Soji grabs the sword on the ground and throws it full force at Deku. Deku, while still bursting off towards Nomu, turns around and catches the sword mid-air. Deku then throws the sword with all his might mid-air, mid-spin towards the Nomu, and the Nomu gets inches away from having his head decapitated once again. But luckily, the Nomu dodges. Portal opens up, swallowing the sword. The Nomu was seconds away from getting its head decapitated. The sword then gets teleported to a boulder behind Shigaraki. He laughs, then he grasps the sword. I know your quirk is completely dependent on this sword. Let's see what happens when I do this. Shigaraki then destroys the sword with his quirk. The sword rusts away. Bakugo sees this and feels conflicted. He feels a bitter relief thinking that Deku might return to being the innocent nerd he once was, but also feels bad. Deku was really trying hard, and to have it all taken away from him just like this? As Shigaraki rusts the sword away, the tilt turns out to be a tear gas grenade, and it explodes into Shigaraki's face. Kurogiri realizes that it's too dangerous to be here anymore, so he creates a portal retreating from the fight. The naval laser stops after using it for too long. Aoyama and Uraraka collapse from sickness. All Might rescues the 10 students from the Eraserhead and Nomu. All Might then confronts the creature. They're both clashing, causing a shock wave to be felt by the entire school. In the same way as the anime, Nomu fights All Might. They go back and forth, smashing each other. Nomu absorbs All Might's attacks. All Might fights against Nomu, all that stuff. But All Might can feel that his time is coming up. Anubis knew this was gonna happen. So, as All Might was fighting in his yellow suit, Anubis was absorbing the life energy from the others around him. Anubis made an unconscious Deku stand up as he funneled all the energy he collected into the sword. He blitzed past everyone and cut one of Nomu's arms off, saving All Might in the process. As All Might coughs up some blood, he sees Deku get smashed by the Nomu into the ground. everyone screams in worry. Anubis fires off all the compressed energy at the Nomu. With a beam of purple light, Eraserhead erases Nomu's regeneration quirk with his quirk. The beam destroyed Nomu on a cellular level, as well as half of the training facility. Unfortunately, Anubis miscalculated how powerful the hero's life energies was. Okay, I guess the quirks make them more powerful. Cementus creates a barricading All Might in his shrunken form. And that's the end of the part. Anyway guys, be sure to like and subscribe and all that fun jazz. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
She like yaddy yaya, she like yaddy yaya. Bitch, I'm rooting for ya, bitch, I'm rooting for ya. She like yaddy yaya, she like yaddy yaya. Bitch, I'm rooting for ya, bitch, I'm rooting for ya. Bitch, I'ma break the bank, bitch, I'ma break the bank, bitch, I'ma break the bank, bitch, I'ma run at the check, bitch, I'ma ball like a ref, bitch, I'ma ball like a ref. She bout to get me so now, nigga they mad and not like me. Say she bad, wanna be on my team. Put on the game, bitch, I'm going to speed. You say that it's like it came with a beat. Bitch, I'ma break the bank. Bitch, I'ma break the bank. Bitch, I'ma break the bank.